When it comes to EVE Online, every player wants to know the most effective tactic available. You want to know the meta. The meta controls everything. It determines what will and will not happen. Knowing the meta will alter your views, make you question your reality. It might even make you laugh. And now, you're part of it. You're watching The Meta Show.
To this week's episode. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of The Meta Show. Hope everybody's having a good time. And as you can tell by the chat today, maybe you can tell, maybe you can't tell, we have a very eager group of individuals watching today. And it might have something to do with our two guests, Valcent and Tristan, the leaders of a story group of Local is Primary. And just like Keith is not primary, Ellie Mae, thank you though, but Local is Primary. And just like true Local in Primary tradition here, they have primaried the Meta Show chat with some brilliant message of go do things like drinking and plexing and low sec and all that other stuff. But we will get to them in a moment and talk to them and our lovely guest here. But first of all, it is that time of year again. And if you don't know what time of year again it is, you'd be right if you said it was fall. You'd be right again to say we're almost to Halloween. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the CSM races coming up, and campaigning for CSM starts here on October 10th. And the Meta Show, being the fair and balanced platform that we are, be inviting our CSM guests or candidates on the show to let us know their platform. So be sure, as always, to go out, reach out to any CSM candidates who might be running this year, and you're like, hey, I really like this guy, I want to make sure he gets heard. Welcome to reach out to us to get some time on the Meta Show to talk about that. And Dave, we might be doing a little bit of we might do a debate this year and get some of our different groups on. So stay tuned for that, some of that information going on. And back in my day, there was no CSM. Or there was, I just didn't pay attention to it because I think we're at like CSM 16 or something like that. Back in my day. Yeah, apparently there's a drinking game going on, and by drinking I mean whatever drink of choice you have. So we'll get to that. So let's, Dave, move on to our main story or topic, or I always screw this. Right.
Back.
You got vodka. That's awesome. Your drink of choice. So our illustrious guests today, Val and Tristan. Val, I'm going to start with you, sir. Introduce yourself to our chat. I know you've got some of your guys there, which is fine, but tell us a little bit about you, Val, and your history in EVE.
Oh, hey, I'm Valcent. I'm one of the directors during Glitter, and ergo Local is Primary by default. I've been playing since probably 2012, and just been off and on in the low sec and faction warfare scene since.
Awesome. And we'll hand it off. Tristan, tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, I'm Tristan, founder of D&G and a long-standing faction warfare and beer enthusiast.
That's awesome. Apparently Val has pulled somebody out of a burning house. That's awesome, Jay. I am so glad that Val was able to do that. Not only is he an amazing pilot in EVE Online, he is also a hero, apparently, and he saved your wife. So that's really cool that he was able to do that. I'm already hyped about this chat. I don't know about you, Dave. Seems like
it is energetic. It's quite energetic.
Definitely appreciate it. 100%. So let's go into the first question, and this is part of our Alliance Spotlight. We like to learn about the different groups in EVE Online, which, by the way, for all of our viewers, if you have a group or alliance that you're like, hey, I want to get these guys on the show, love to hear about it, let us know, reach out to us, and we can definitely talk and see about getting your group online. So, but Val, Tristan, tell our viewers some history. Let's go through how did Tristan? You said you started D&G. What did you guys start out as? Like, what was your? Was it always low sec? Was there some no sec in there? How did that start?
So D&G originally started as a SIG within another alliance called I Whip My Slaves Back and Forth. So we were members of the corporation Fwedit, and we started a new bro plexing and faction warfare SIG called Glitter Fleet. And it kind of grew from there. So when Fwedit joined CFC and moved over to do stuff in Delve, we stayed behind. And DNG was formed as a standalone corporation.
That's awesome. Awesome. So you guys we had Sapporo Jones on there. Were you pretty close to Sapporo there?
No.
That's a shame. He seems like an interesting character. But no, that's awesome. So you guys started out, did a little bit of the null stuff. What drove you to kind of go into low sec and where you guys are today?
So like my starting in low sec was I was kind of a high sec care bear, running a little corp, and we started doing some level 5 missions in low. Hazed some rats and thought, you know what, we're absolutely indestructible right now. So took our level 5 fleet, camped a gate, and got hazed within 10 minutes by Fwedit. And then ended up joining them within a week.
That's awesome. So you joined Fwedit because they beat the crap out of you. I like that mentality, and I feel like more people should take that attitude, because it seems like when people feed nowadays, they just get really angry and salty about it rather than say, hey, you know what, I want to go join those guys. Fwedit mentioned, is this like, hold on a second, can we, like, what are the rules to this game? I want to know. Val, Tristan, what are the rules of this drinking game that's going on right now?
So anything that's that makes us, because we're getting on in years now, and we don't like feeling as old as we are. So anything that makes us feel old. So if you say things like back in the day, I remember when, or just bring things up from our past, that equals an instant drink.
Awesome. So there you go for our viewers. Follow along if you want your drink of choice. And make sure that you keep up with that. We like to see the chat get fun today. So, all right. So you guys started out, you joined Fwedit and did a low sec camp, got beat up on. Is there like anything that's driven you, Tristan, to stay in low sec? Has D&G and Local as Primary ventured out to nullsec at all, or any other parts of space, maybe wormhole space?
We have, yeah. So we spent some time as members of Test, and lived in Wicked Creek for a bit doing nullsec stuff. Do the odd wormhole defense for some of our friends. And recently we've started doing ESS fleets as a bit of a break from faction warfare content. But I think with faction warfare and low sec, just the ability to jump in something cheap, undock it, half cut, drunk as whatever you want to be, and just go and shoot people in the face. It's something that's pretty unique to that area of space.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and by the way, chat, somebody mentioned I have a Jedi Ghost thing going on today. Unfortunately, I use NVIDIA Broadcast usually and to do the background, and it was not working today. So I had to use just a normal background with Discord, and it's crap. I acknowledge that. But unfortunately, despite my best technical efforts, I was not able to get that
We
fixed.
had a
And I'm
world of
also a little
technical
bit under the
problems
weather.
today.
What's that, Dave?
We had a world of technical problems getting this stream going today.
We did.
A nightmare. I blame Kane.
But yeah, it's Kane Highwind, our producer, who wasn't able to make us. He blew up his computer, so he wasn't able to make it today. So wormholes, you guys did some wormhole stuff. You guys done some nullsec stuff, but low sec seems to be your home. And I'm going to tell you right now, Tristan, I would agree. Like I've been in different parts of space, and I think low sec from just a PvP standpoint is the best sec. Chat might be angry that I say that. Dave probably doesn't
prefer
agree with me.
big fights and big fleets, personally. If it's not 256 people smashing into each other in, as it's coming around to now, maelstroms, I don't want to know. That's why I have Keith.
We had 200 something people bashing into each other last night, right? You guys were on the fleet, Val and Tristan.
Yeah.
We
what
beat up on the
Navpox?
Shark Cartel. That's right. What Navpox, Dave? Bargus and Navpox going at it last night in Losec over,
I
and that was an
I do
Athenor.
my share of smaller fleets. I mean, I take ASCII out in like
Smaller
60
fleets.
dudes.
Awesome. What else? Like you guys, Tristan, Val, you guys were you guys in Black Legion? We talked about this a little bit before the show. I was in Black Legion a little bit. I don't know if you guys were part of that in the whole .exe and Elo Night kind of thing. I feel like I remember seeing you guys there though.
Yeah, so D&G was a member of BL ... when it was under Mikkel as our CEO. He's like Mikkel's quite different kind of leadership style to myself and Valcent. He preferred the more high-end, battleship cap comps, and took D&G from some adventures through some more high SP kind of fights.
Nice. Now, Mikkel's no longer with Local as primary. Is that something you guys like? How has Tristan? It sounds like you've been there from the start, obviously, but how has the leadership and D&G evolved over the years there?
We like to play hot potato with the CEO role in D&G. It's been through many kind of iterations and eras. Usually one CEO will get settled and then something in real life will come up and get in the way, or they'll just be burnout and we'll pass it over and start a different kind of approach to what we're doing. So Mikkel recently moved over to join Snuffed, and the Corp was suffering a bit of inactivity, so it was passed back to me, and we've been doing a bit of a switch back to our faction warfare roots, taking on a lot of newer pilots and just going at it and like brawling for our lives in Amamake with cheap cruisers and stuff and having a good time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. As somebody said, as Roxero said, I think that's how you say your name, is we've all been CEO at one point, and I'm assuming he means everybody. D&G has been CEO of the group
So
at one point.
is the CEO role just like several dudes in a trench coat? Like everybody just
That's
has
probably-
their term at the
It's probably
top.
pretty realistic. We're all a bunch of fucking raccoons stacking on each other.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. So you guys, we talked a little bit about the history. It's like, what are we doing? Like, what is Local's primary doing now? So you guys are based out of, is it Amamake, Aga? I think it's Aga, right?
We have just moved this week to Amamake.
Okay.
So we were in Ecolend, which is our ancestral starting place, doing a bit of rebuilding, recruiting really heavily. Now we've got to a point where we've got quite a good number of people, so we decided to jump in the middle of the fire in our area and go stage in Amamake where all the content is.
Awesome. How's that going right now? You guys getting some good frags out there? I know I've seen you in a couple fleets in Sedition with us, that kind of thing, which I know Young Puke appreciates for sure. But how's the Losec fighting? How's Amamake been treating you?
Well, last night was our first kind of actual drunk fleet in Amamake. We spent 3 hours brawling over one plex, just painting the kill board. It was a really, really good time.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me there. I'm coughing a little bit. So let me ask you a question. So with Losec and the current state of EVE Online and how we're doing things, is there any like recent changes that have happened in the game, the Legion patch? What are your thoughts, Tristan, as a long-time storied leader of a storied alliance there, on what the changes have done and how's that impacted your decision on where to take Local's primary and Dirt Glitter?
Probably the most challenging of the changes within recent times that's affected us directly has been direct enlistment. So you'd have like a glory days of old faction warfare alliances where you'd have people dedicated to just doing faction warfare or taking in alts of people who wanted to try it, and that's diminished a lot and made recruitment a little bit more difficult. Now people can still be in Horde or Karma Fleet or whatever they want and just direct enlist. So that's been quite difficult. To kind of overcome that, you have to offer unique content, really. So just undocking and getting out there and brawling and making it an attractive prospect for people to actually bring their character over instead of just jumping in the direct enlistment and farming.
Yeah. Val, what are your thoughts on that? Do you have anything to add to that?
For the recruitment side of things, I think Tristan kind of hit the nail on the head when you have people from every group under the sun just randomly be in the militia. It's kind of hard to really incentivize people to join a group. So really, you have to dangle the hook and then like force feed it in so they swallow it, and then they're kind of stuck. But
Still
regarding like the
talking about
Legion
recruitment
changes,
here?
but with the Legion changes, it kind of doesn't really shape a whole lot of what we fly necessarily. It did kind of reopen up some old avenues to like sack doctrines and whatnot.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Dave, that means your goons are joining direct enlisting. You should need to stop them from doing that.
Oh, have you ever tried to stop
No
a
more
goon
sack
from doing anything?
Yeah, just
That
tell them
is-
Dirt and Glitter's recruiting. It's all good.
Dirt and Glitter is recruiting. No, that's awesome. I'm always curious on, as the game evolves and changes, like what does that do for groups that have been around for a while, that kind of thing. And we try to talk about it and touch on it week over week as we talk to the different leaders of groups. So Dirt and Glitter is recruiting though. What does D&G do currently that you guys feel like sets you aside from different groups? And one thing I do want to put on, somebody mentioned in chat, the waifu, which I know we had pukes on, and we talked about the waifu wars. Dave, do we have a picture of D&G's? I think we do. We did get some secret meme drops before the show.
Yeah,
I think we'll
I
throw it up
believe
there.
I provided you.
No, you did. You did.
Good old Kesha Chan through the years, starting with the OG proper Salt Girl that is based off the Morton Salt Girl.
That's that 100%. We want to see the D&G waifu. I know that's a chat. Like we got Jay already. Show our girl.
Yellow
know if you got
outfit
it
and
up there,
umbrella,
Dave.
yeah?
Yeah.
Give me
We're
a
gonna
sec.
guess Dave gets that up there. But as Dave's gonna get that up there here in a second. We'll see if it even works. I don't know. With the luck we've been having with tech today, we look like a bunch of amateurs that have never done this before. So forgive me. So I will say this, Val, Tristan, what do you guys feel like D&G offers that other groups don't? There we go. There she is. Dave's like
Why are
sizing
our
her in and
cameras
out.
like... Okay, we're doing great today. This is great. You can tell I'm running this one.
All we can do is laugh and just keep trucking. But Val, Tristan, thoughts on what D&G does that you guys feel like you want to highlight?
I was going to see if Valcent had anything prepared then, but I guess not.
No, you're okay.
So, like our USP, I guess, would be just we're kind of an accept all kind of group. We've got really, I wouldn't say low, but easy entry into cheap and readily available PvP without the pressure of mandatory participation or worrying about kill board stats. It's really about just go out there and have fun and don't take it too seriously.
What if I take it too seriously? Do I get kicked? Have you guys kicked anybody from the Alliance?
Yeah, we
Maker.
do kick the odd person, but you really have to try hard to get kicked from D&G. Like, it is an achievement in itself, I think.
Yeah, I could probably count on one hand how many people we've had to kick for blatant reasons.
Does D&G even have it? Do you guys have like a lot of spies that you have to deal with there?
Well, spies are content, so please send them over.
So you're here, chat. If you want to go spy, low effort spying with no participation requirements, D&G is recruiting. Actually, I don't want that to be the highlight that
I
people
was
come
going to say,
away
I
from
can think of an even more
the
low
show.
effort spying place.
What are you implying that Goons is a low effort spy
No,
place, Dave?
Horde.
Oh. Yeah,
if you
that's
want a
true.
legitimate corp history on your spy alt, we'll have a chat and I'll tell you about the fees for that.
That is a hell of a line. I love it, man. Like you're trying to build your spy out. D&G is a group to go to to build that history so you look like a legitimate player and not an obvious spy. I love it. So, have you guys done? I saw some of the videos you guys sent me. Have you guys done like an AT? Are you guys doing AT this year?
We've had an AT team in the past. It wasn't I wouldn't say it was a true Control V1. It was Damish. Damish was using our alliance as an alliance to run his team through. This year we're not doing our own. We do have a close friend of the alliance who has his own AT team who we support, which is a guy called Debug, who's one of our former members, and his team is Rage Quit Cancel Sub.
Awesome, and they made it in past the feeders.
Yeah, they got invited straight through because they came fourth last year.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so they got a direct invite. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. I am a D&G enthusiast. I am an AT enthusiast a little bit, though admittedly I haven't paid a huge amount of attention this year to the feeders and that kind of
Still
thing.
salty after last year.
Oh, well, yeah. We won't talk about my last year foray into the AT where we just immediately lost our first two matches and never met anywhere else. So, but that was decisions that were made there. So, so I will tell you my big, like the first memory that comes to mind with Dirt and Glitter and local primary when my personal experiences when I was in Rokapel for a bit. And when we moved to Turner, the first group that we engaged with was D&G. Like you guys were our like enemy number one. We were going to go fight these guys all the time. And I remember there was somebody who yelled and like said some really mean things in local, and you guys made him come back and apologize to our alliance. And I think he had to like write a letter saying how sorry he was for being ridiculous. Does that ring any bells?
Not to me.
Wow.
That was during Meekle's tenure. That's the most recent one. But yeah, that is it does sound familiar. And I do remember you guys and Big AB kind of burning our little empire in that area to the ground. So
yeah, I remember that we had a specific fleet at one point. These are a lot of I remembers back in my day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just keep it going. Let's keep it going, chat.
Back in the day,
I remember we had brought we tried a Marauder fleet. I think you guys dropped dreads on us and like alpha our Marauders, and I think some of the leadership in Rote was a little salty about that, and there was some definite frustration. I think you guys moved away down to I want to say Aga. I don't know why I keep thinking Aga shortly after that, but yeah, it was kind of a mess then. We're playing the game in 1995. Was Eve even out in 1995?
2003.
Yeah,
I know that because we used to make fun of Mike Flood because he was younger than the game.
Dave, I have a question. You have any experiences with Dirt and Glitter in this
No,
group?
I don't venture into Lowsec that often just because whenever goons go, most of my stuff I do is, a goon thing. Whenever goons venture into Lowsec, it normally turns out very bad. And we just don't bother after that. So, unless they enter nullsec, I don't generally interact with lowsec other than defending of high sec structures.
I don't know. Lowsec is my like spiritual home. I don't think I've tried living other places, and nullsec's kind of fun. It has its moments. It's fun to like nullsec is a fun like vacation home in my opinion. Like you go there for a short period of time, but you don't want to live there. There's a lot of people who live there, but I don't want to live there. Have you seen the people that live in vacation destinations like Orlando or the beach? They're never that happy.
Like Florida, man. Calm down.
So Tristan, Val, what is kind of? Do you guys have any plans for what's the future hold for the alliance?
I think right now we're just focusing on to continue building and provide content for our members and just make sure we're slurping up that sweet juicy MRLP.
Heck yeah. There's some Edict folks in chat, so you guys are close with Edict and all. And you guys are, and that's I guess something you left out, is you guys are part of the Yamar fact war, right?
Correct, yes. We And we're part of the Amar faction warfare. We've recently kind of really been trying to bolster like the unity within the Amar faction warfare because it's historically always not been very unified. So whenever someone big comes around, it's kind of easy to kind of just super down, pound in the Amar and ruin their days. But right now we're kind of doing a good job making sure that doesn't happen anymore.
Super pound in Amar. Poor Amar guys getting beat up on. Anything that counters the spaghetti militia, the min mill guys, I'm all for it because those guys are obnoxious in my experience in recent things. Dave, we need to get you to come out to low sec.
Yeah, I've never done faction warfare. I tried it tiny bit, and then had other stuff I had to go do.
All right, here's what we'll do, Dave. You stick a clone in Alma. We'll give you a handful of ships, and you do your best to destroy them.
Oh, I can do that easily.
No, 100%. We need to make this happen. Dave versus Dirt and Glitter for like 24 hours. We're going to stream it on the Meta Show, and we're just going to keep feeding Dave ships until he can kill somebody from Dirt and Glitter. We'll do that.
Depends on the ship.
Oh,
No.
Killing us is not going to be hard. It's killing other people. Yeah, we'll give you a bunch of punishers. Go have fun.
Yeah, we need to get you out in low sec, Dave.
Maybe if I stream after the show today, I'll go to low sec.
Oh yeah, and you're gonna go mine in low sec?
No. We don't do that mining.
I wouldn't.
No, I know you don't. But Dave likes to mine. Come on, Dave.
Go ahead, go mine.
Only as a quick pastime.
What's your other pastime? You like to rat too, right?
My other pastime is not logging in and doing paperwork half the time.
Oh well, low sec. We're getting Dave in low sec. Bring him to Dave to Friday Night Drunk Fleet. 100%. Yeah, no, I think we should. That needs to happen, Dave. You are invited formally. You've been invited, I think, right? Val and Tristan, Dave can come to Friday Night Drunk Fleet.
I'd have to.
I mean, if you like not logging in and doing paperwork, I've got a leadership position in D&G available.
I've got one. I've got one in probably a much bigger cup. And that's enough of a headache for me.
Dave unfortunately is leadership in the Imperium, so he has to deal with that and the fun stuff that comes with that. But you've been recruited, Dave, so you have to join Dirt and Glitter now. You don't tell them no.
No, totally.
They're gonna come into local and just spam it. Oh, Ellie Mae, Dave works. Yeah, Dave works.
I'd probably survive. Well, not IRL anymore. I'll probably survive like 2 days in low sec, probably before I'm like, I keep dying.
Yeah. So who do you guys like? Dirt and Glitter. Who are you guys' friends? Who do you guys usually work with? Other than the Amar Fact War guys.
Oh, that's pretty much it. Like, we will occasionally fleet up the Senate to fight bigger air groups in the area, but we gotta just stick to ourselves and Amar.
Are we allowed to shoot you? I don't think you guys are blue to Senate, right?
Yeah, no, we're frenemies at best.
At best. I don't know, man. You guys seem pretty nice when you come on cons with us, hang out. And
well, yeah.
Kind of
We try not to have blues because that's less things to shoot at.
I agree, and I'm glad you brought that up. And it's really like there's a lot of groups. I think a lot of times we all have all these blues and all this other stuff, and it's like, why? Well, you need to have more people to shoot at. Edict are the best blues. You know what? Want a piece? You say Edict are the best blues, but you guys were talking crap about their waifu right now. Like, I feel like that was your waifu's better than theirs. Like, that's not what you do with your best bro. You like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you should talk up your best bro's waifu. Like, that's what I would do.
I'm gonna stay away from the topical
nice.
blues.
Edith Chan is nice, but she's no Kesha Chan, so.
She's like a solid 5 pints, and then I would.
Yeah, but 5 pints of what? Because it could be 5 pints of a really weak beer, and then that's just like, or 5 pints of a really strong one.
Fighting words. Canuck down under. Voltron fraternity. I hope you mean Voltron against fraternity, because we're very hostile against fraternity in this on the meta show. No, we're not. I mean, I kind of am.
Well, it's because they're a bunch of dicks. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm really trying. I'm really trying
I'm
to
not
get
gonna be
somebody from
neutral on
Frat.
that one. They're just a bunch of dicks. Like,
I'm really trying to get somebody on from Frat. So if my Dirt and Glitter Bros, anybody from Frat director level or something, who wants to come on and chat with us,
I don't
let
talk
us
to
know.
those farmers.
Neither do I. They're rude.
so
And
you
they
knock on their
AWOX,
door,
it's
then they
terrible.
take over your space.
So let me ask you guys a question. You lived always in where, and I like how I keep saying, let me ask you a question. We should add that to the drinking game, though. I don't think you guys need any excuses to drink at this point. But hey, whatever. Um, what changes? Like we've got the CSM stuff coming out. Are there any changes you'd like to see in like FACWAR space and LOSEC space to like make it more enticing and stuff?
Battlefields absolutely need to be addressed because they are they're iffy on whether it's worth it. Like, if you go in and you get it from the start and you go uncontested, sure, it's probably nice and dandy. But as soon as you get pushed out, it becomes, well, is this worth my 30 minutes and the lack of ISK I'm going to recoup for this? Because
Yeah.
you're only getting so much LP.
So
I hope.
explain to.
Good.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, explain to me and us, like, how does that work? Does the LP scale on how long you were in there for, or like, how does that work? Why is it not worth going back in after you push off?
So it's only a flat 150K, up to 30 people.
Yeah,
So if you're bringing more than that, of course, that's how you're going to have LP diminishing returns. But really, if you get pushed out, you probably lost some ships. And then there's also the time investment. So you can run a bunch of other sites or blast a couple supply depots in the same amount of time you can run the battlefield anyway,
yeah,
which will net you the same, if not more, LP. So it turns into, do I really care about the battlefield when I've already lost it and I can get more risk elsewhere?
yeah. Battlefields have coming from like the more pirate side of LowSec. I saw battlefields as content drivers because go farm the FACWAR guys. What I don't want to say farm, but it was like I could go get a fight, and it's a relatively reasonable fight because of the restrictions on battlefields. So I thought they were a pretty good driver of content, but I feel like when they first came out, they were great. Or maybe that's because people hadn't figured it out, whatever it may be. But now they've gotten to a point where it just seems like, I don't know, do you guys still fight over battlefields?
We have occasionally. A lot of these new like F4 mechanics, I say new, they're not new anymore, but they weren't around when I was originally playing. I just got pulled out of retirement when Tristan got pulled back into CEO.
No, awesome. So, like, and I see the chat talking about defensive battlefields need a boost. Are you like they pay out the same way if you're attacking? It's that 150,000 LP.
No, defensive are subject to the same modifiers that defensive plexing is.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it's something along the lines of 75% of the full LP value times by the contested modifier of the system. So like a 50% contested system would be half of 75% of what the LP would be on an offensive one.
Gotcha. And do we think that's like, so folks are saying like, hey, they need a boost. Is that something you guys feel like defensive battlefields should get like more LP?
Yeah, I mean, Battlefield should probably just pay the same across the board due to the amount of time and people investment that have to go into it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm always curious. Like the thing with faction warfare that kind of like I question as well is like, what is the point of capturing a system? Like, is there any like I know there's some bonuses that go with at a like logistic at a meta level or at a macro level, but like it seems like the way it plays out is trying to have as many of these frontline systems as possible is beneficial. Is that like the general FAC war strategy?
From what I can tell, since I've come back in the day, if you owned a system, the opposite faction couldn't dock in it regardless. But now with the front lines, as long as there's an adjacent system with a Stargate, the Mimitar can dock in a Mars system, and a Mar can dock in Mimitar, etc. So really, the name of the game is just keep the amount of front lines available as balanced as possible, so that way everybody wins.
There should be like, I don't know. I don't know what you guys thought. I've thought about this. Like, there should be some kind of like incentive to like go capture all the systems, like seasons almost. Like, oh, capture all this space and you get some big reward or whatever, and then it like resets every season to back to the normal like front lines, and everybody rinse and repeat. Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, back in the day, there used to
Back
be
in my day,
an incentive where the first time a militia took the war zone entirely, they would get a medal militia-wide.
yeah.
And I'd just like to point out that Minmatar were the last to pick that up. And it took the dev who put those medals in game had left by the time they took it. And we ran a campaign for a couple of years called #NoMedal. But something like that, like, yeah, even if it's like a seasonal thing, just a flavor item or some kind of incentive to actually push. Because right now, the incentive is you keep front lines open in select places, like one go in and have your PvP centralized in one area where you want to have like a quieter area to just go farm in. And there's no real incentivization to actually go all out and try and take the whole thing. And even if you did, you've got certain systems which are adjacent to their friendly high sec. So, for example, for Amar, Huola, Kamela, those systems will always be frontline, even if Minmatar holds them, because they're adjacent to Amar high sec.
Yeah.
For those guys, it's Amamake, Bosboga, I think. So we can never lock them out of there. And that kind of, what's the point in pushing that?
Yeah, and that's what it seems like. When I back in my day, I was in Caldari faction warfare, and I remember flying around with the Caldari cow mill guys, and we'd go like, "Oh, we need to stop this system," and it seemed like there was a greater strategy, or there used to be one apiece. The meta show, by the way, disclaimer: we're not responsible for anybody's livers or drinking habits that happen today. So, that is by your own fruition. If that happens, your own doing. But it just seemed like there was a maybe more strategy. Now it just seems more like farming focused. Like it's a ISK. It is. It's always has been. That's been the driver behind it. LP like serves ISK, but it just seems like there could be some greater strategy there. And I'm thinking of like some other games like you have like these war zones, and there's more strategy to it. There's an incentive to take it, and it's really lacking that driver to go out and do it. It's like, well, what's the point? Like, we want to have X, Y, and Z. We just want to have these front lines.
Yeah, I did present some ideas to our local CSM rep as like system or constellation wide buffs, much like how wormhole systems have their system wide buffs. Just they don't need to be game breaking. Just a little something to incentivize us holding a system or a constellation. That way, when people come fight, it's always fun. When we go to fight, it's always fun. There's always some challenge to it. It's not just N+1 or let me just counter your fucking comp and be a jerk about it. Just let's all go out fun, have brawls. But there's just little incentive to do a whole lot of that, other than just to pad killboards.
Yeah, I feel like direct enlistment. We talked about it a little bit before, and I was thinking as you're sitting here talking, I'm like, there should be some kind of informal capsuleer like command chain through a militia and that kind of thing. And when it comes to like, why isn't FAC War? There's the ability to customize the space similar to what we see in nullsec. And direct enlistment kind of screws that up, because you could do some kind of system where like, okay, the FAC War guys, militia guys can vote for different upgrades in different systems. But then direct enlistment would allow our blocks to really game that and screw it up.
Well, maybe then you
and benefit them.
do it so people doing direct enlistment can't vote on those things. I mean, I've always thought that the only point of going to faction warfare is just to get the ISK and the LP from it, because, as has been said here, what's the point of doing anything other than that? Because it doesn't have any benefit per se of disrupting the status quo.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm just really frustrated with, and as Alex mentioned, frat gentrification in chat. I don't like the fraternity, at least incursion into LoSec. I can't speak if other blocks have been as pervasive as frat has been. Frat, in my opinion, has been is the cancer of EVE Online. And they're slowly, yeah, we have some victories against them or whatever, but I think frat style is they don't care about losing one or two fights or whatever. They're just going to grind you to death. So I don't know how you, Val, or Tristan feel about fraternity there.
Had a presence in Amar for a while, like pre-direct enlistment. They have a the alliance, which is still around, called Dragon Riders Legion, which is renowned for AWOXing players in the militia to maximize their own LP gains. And then since direct enlistment, those alt alliances haven't been so prevalent. It's it's just the frat guys in the frat corps doing it themselves. So we've had to deal with them and have the issues of them like trying to min-max their own profits and multi-boxing battlefields and that kind of stuff for a while. And we've done some like tactics of war decks or just shoot them first, or booshing them out of capture range of plexes just to make their days difficult. We've got quite a few tactics of dealing with them, but
when you're a bot, it doesn't matter though, right?
Exactly. You're 23 and a half, 7, just constantly farming without input.
No, 100%. Like, I want to say this. It looks like somebody's trying to drop a Killboard link for a corporation there, Dave. I don't know if you want to get it. But I want to say this. Like, I'm very... Obviously, I'm not shy about saying I don't like frat, but for the sake of the show, I would love to have frat to come on and talk about and have a genuine conversation about this different stuff. Like, we're sitting here talking to Dirt and Glitter, and like obviously their relationship with frat, like everybody seems to be touched and not in a positive way by fraternity.
I'm sorry, what?
So
I was looking at
Yeah,
how
I
to
mean-
have Ezekiel, and I just heard that.
right?
I mean, I know I see what Frat's doing in the north of our war zone as potentially problematic. They just farm all the systems. They have groups that come and they walks us to prevent us from farming them, but we're still small enough that we can still locate out of like 2 of the constellations and get a lot of content and LP farm, but I do remember the glory days of without these front lines where you could roam every system, get all the LP you want, and get all the fights you want, and you don't necessarily have to worry about getting blobbed by 40, 50, 60 people that are just there to take away your LP.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. And whether it be Podfin, whether it be a NullSec, whatever it may be, like anytime I run into frat, I'm just like, I don't see how this is positive for EVE Online in the game as a whole. If 5 people call you a dick, maybe consider it. What are we talking about? Rockstar.
I don't know what Racco's on about.
Maybe fat, but no, with fat is what like goons get a lot of flack for the amount of alliances that are in the Imperium now, but
yeah,
we're in our own little, the only people we're pushing on is Horde because they somewhat deserve it. But you got fat that you go anywhere near them and they're just like, well, we're just going to take your space and take that space, and now we're going to go into low sec and we're going to try and take Popfin, and we're going to, And why do they need it? Just so they can beat Boop a little bit more? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's RMT, but
Listen, I have called CCP out for Norris still playing the game. And
if it looks like a sheep and sounds like a sheep,
it's probably a bot. But like, I have called Norris out on this show and said, not specifically Norris, but CCP, like, have they changed their terms or conditions and that kind of thing when it comes to botting? Or RMT, because the dude still plays the game. and it openly admits that he was doing it, and then he's still allowed to play the game. But somebody said earlier in the chat, I'm really curious. You were able to get on Min-Mill comms after like 20 beers. Was it actually 20 beers, or what's the story behind that?
No, it was 3/4 of a bottle of rum.
Okay. It's like 20 beers, right?
No.
Yeah, so
Depends if you're American or British. That does, I suppose.
we had an event which I referred to as Freedom Week. It's basically my wife and family all went off on holiday and left me alone at home. So I booked the week off work and drank a lot and played Eve.
Yeah.
And on one of the fleets, I decided it would be funny if we ran our plexing fleet of VARD, which is Fleet's staging system, from Fleet's comms. So we all jumped into their public channel. Caused a bit of confusion. Then they formed a fleet and ran that from our public channel. And then we kind of unified the fleet in one drunken mess. Bear That Cares put a bait nag on a big AB moon drill. And as soon as they formed, we all just piled in and started a 40-minute slugfest, which was absolutely brilliant. And hats off to Fleet for taking it so well and then forming up with us. It was a really enjoyable evening.
No, that is awesome, because it's not often you see them come together, and it's cool to see the Bear That Cares actually cared to make it fun and bully Big Ab a little bit. I feel like we've been bullying Shadow Cartel a little bit like lately as we teamed up against them, and I don't know the whole story or whatever, that kind of thing. I'm sure I can ask Puke and he'll tell me, but just like, man, we have beat the crap out of Shadow Cartel the last like 4 weeks. And Shadow Cartel is an interesting group, by the way. And I'm going to say this because I don't know much about Shadow Cartel, but they are one of, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, they are one of the like low sec powerhouses equivalent to Snuff, right?
They
used to
were.
be many
They
years
used
ago.
to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still not something I necessarily want to try and form up against just right yet, but they used to be a lot scarier.
Yeah, they used to, like, I feel like directly compete with Bear really does care. That's right. They used to directly compete, I feel like, with Snuffed Out. And then I felt like the problem with Shadow Cartel is they were like have the same kind of, they're the same time zone to my knowledge, EU time zone. And they do kind of the same things as Snuff did. So it's like, what separated you for Snuff? Why would you go join Shadow Cartel and not Snuffed Out? Maybe they wouldn't let you in Snuffed Out, but the Shadow
If I
Cartel.
remember correctly, Shadow Cartel predates Snuffed Out.
Yeah, I believe that, and they kind of started. I don't even know.
Shadow Cartel's not as cool.
But they were more from our war zone, whereas Snuff was from the Calgal space, where they've probably historically lived in Rakapas for a good while. I believe Shadow Cartel was probably out of Hawala, I want to guess.
No. Get a beer ready, because I remember when I was really new in faction warfare, and Shadow Cartel used to live in Avanod.
Oh, the Bear is. Go ahead.
So I was going to say, and we needed to bash the Avanod iHub, and Shadow Cartel were like super aggressive there. So we had to form like 40 guys up in catalysts and go gank this iHub.
Oh, that's awesome. I think the Bear That Cares is in on the stream here. Somebody summoned him because we were talking about the time that DNG, your local primary, had taken the lead to take over your Discord comms and then bully Big Ab with Big Ab in a drunken fleet of all the FAC
Who
war guys.
doesn't like bullying Big Ab?
I mean, I like Big Ab.
Oh, I do, but never not bully little AB. Sorry.
Yeah, well, Dave, you're a goon, so that's what goons do. I was there. Hashtag I remember. I was there. What's the other one? What's the other buzzword for today?
Back in my day.
Come on. Back in my day. We'll take one for the meta show, everybody. As we're coming up on time here, I do want to take us out with any last minute thoughts for our guests, Val and Tristan. Anything you want to leave our viewers with today?
DNG is recruiting, by the way.
DNG is recruiting. I would encourage you, as my experience with DNG, they're a really great group of guys. go hit them up. I'm sure you can reach out to Val or Tristan. Their actual in-game names are what we use in the stream. So send them an email. If you want to be in whatever, go shoot them. Probably is a better way to do. Just go to Unlock and go shoot them and then say, hey, can I join? And I bet you they will take you, because apparently if you're a spy and you want to be a legitimate spy and have a legitimate corp on your corp history, they're the group to go to, right?
Just click our corporation ad in local as we spam it as we fly around.
That is absolutely right. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. I thank you for taking your time out and talking with us. Definitely love having you. And I do hope that D&G continues to thrive. And I know I will continue to talk to you and see you. Dave, do you want to take us out, sir?
Yeah, it's been great. As Keith said, if you are a candidate for CSM, reach out to me or Keystone or Alkane on INN's Discord. Sorry, my mind went woohoo. Which can be found in the panels on the Profile List channel. And get in touch and we'll work out a show where we can get some people some time slots, come on, talk about their campaign, what they're standing for. And get a good idea of who's out there. Other than that, that is all for me. I'm going to send us over to my channel where I'm actually going to go into LowSec now.
Oh, Dave's going to LowSec. Go watch Dave's stream. He's going to rate us over there. Again, thank you everybody for coming. Val and Tristan, thank you for coming on and talking about Dirt and Glitter.
Thanks for the invite.
Next time. Goodbye all.
See you guys.